What's going on, guys? It's Joey Valley TCG. I hope you guys are having a good day, good week. I'm back with another video. Today we are going to be talking about how I think about the way to benefit to some extent from the monetary aspect of the game and to build a valuable collection. And I'm going to use Pokemon as a great analogy for the way that I think about it. So, yeah, that's what I want to talk about today. And if you guys could like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into it, right? So, guys, I have this set, OP09, on the screen. The reason for that is because I think a lot of these manga arts, a lot of the expensive cards in here, like Monkey D. Luffy, it just feels really underpriced to me. Of course, when this card at this wanted poster card, I've talked about this multiple times, but especially when it was down to like 130 or so, it just felt so cheap. And I have a video out where I said, hey, like, this looks really cheap, you guys. Maybe it's time to think about picking one up. And lo and behold, the prices are now $195 a card. And I think this really brings up a very interesting concept, which is the idea of zigging when others are zagging. And as Warren Buffett, right? He talked about this. Let's take a look. Warren Buffett, he said, fishing where the fish are. I think this is other people have used this analogy, but okay. It's Charlie Munger, close enough. Fish where the fish are. And this is a very important concept. And I think the concept here is just that you really have to make sure that you're thinking about your collection from a long-term perspective. Are you chasing the same type of cards that everyone else is doing at that same time? And if the answer is yes, I do think that sometimes your upside will be limited, right? When people got really scared when all the other fishermen left, that was the time to step in. And one great example of this is Pokemon from just a few months ago. Let's just roll back to February of this year, right? The Sun and Moon block had these amazing cards, these tag team cards, these combo Pokemon cards that were, effectively prices hadn't gone up. You've had, Evolving Skies go, increase from like $700, $800 a booster box to, $1,500 a booster box. But these cards were not moving at all. So you could feel the excitement in the air for Pokemon, but really good looking alt arts were just not moving. And eventually it started to, right? So this card is now double. I bought this in February. So everything that I'm going to show you today from Pokemon are cards that I bought in February of this year. And I wish I'd bought more copies, but ended up only getting 1 or 2 copies of each. But still, right? So this was a $40-something card. Now it's a $100 card. The Sableye card, this was like a under $200 card. So I bought this for $140 a card. I'll show you guys once it comes back because it's at PSA to be graded right now, but I think it could be a 10. But yeah, I bought 2 copies of this. Now they're $500 each. Absolutely insane. People have just gone in just nuts for this card. I don't think it's worth $500 to be fair, but I do think it's worth more than $140. This Rowlet and Executor card. This is really cheap for a while. I thought this was a really nice looking card. 50 $1, $52 was when I bought it. Now at $147. Red and blue. This was a $100 card, a little over $100. Yeah, a little over $100 when I picked it up. Now $170. This is the Marshadow and Machamp GX card. Very similar to the others. No movement right before that. $75 and now $235, $237, something like that. And then I picked up 2 copies of this card as well, the Greninja Zoroark. I got it for like $120, $130 per card. Now it's $300. So just very quick examples of cards that if you can time this correctly, this is a very, very rewarding thing to do. And, I think the risk is actually quite low, because if you look at price history of this, right, $100 flat for, a couple years, it starts moving up because the whole game starts getting crazier, and it still doesn't move up for the early stages, right? The craziness started in November of last year in Pokemon. It moved up a little bit in January, February, but almost de minimis in price movement. So your downside here was 15%, right? Let's say the craze fades in February. You bought it for $115 a card, and it falls back down to $100 a card, right? Oh no, like that sucks. That sucks. You lost $15, 15%. But the upside is close to 300%. So this is what I'm saying, guys. Like, when these things happen, when people start moving into this, into the hobby, price movement could be absolutely crazy. And that's why you should, again, fish where the fish are. So if I'm looking at One Piece today, prices are not that crazy, right? Like, you look at this Wanted poster card. This is an under $100 card. I mean, it had a nice little bump here. Now it's moving back down. Why is it moving back down? No one knows. Maybe people are going on vacation. People are too crazy, spending money on Pokemon, or other things, right? Labubus, whatever, which I do not understand. That company is so weird. If you guys buy Labubus, put it in the comments below why that is. I would love to know. Anyways, so this Wanted poster card, very rare. The first kind of SP. It's not an SP rare. It's not SP rarity per se, because it's not called that, even though it has the same kind of hit rate. So that is, I mean, this should be a pretty expensive card, right? But people aren't looking at it. But do you think, my question to you is, do you think this card is going to move up or down? If people by, let's say, November of this year starts buying back into One Piece, starts getting really excited about One Piece, and again, just like it happens almost every single year, like, do you think this card is going to go up or down, right? And I would guess more than likely, I can't be 100% sure. Nothing's ever 100% certain in this world. But do you think this card is going to go up or down? And if you said down, well, I mean, you could be right, but, I would not be a betting man there, right? I would not be shorting the Wanted poster for Luffy. Or even this card, the Nami Leader, which I think is still potentially, playable. Still people like this card. But it's been an absolute, this card has gone all the way down from 210 to 167 today. Pretty much back to close to 1 year lows. I think this is way too cheap for this card. near mint copy for this price, I think that is way too cheap. So just something like that makes me kind of question where we are in the One Piece ecosystem, One Piece life cycle, why these prices are so low. And I look at these posts, like I seriously consider quitting. And these manga art cards revealed, and a lot of people in here are saying they look so bad, no cap, right? Well, if he isn't capping, then he must be serious. Even though these cards look okay, I don't think they're all that bad. And then there's, as UCE Gang says, but the 5 Elder cards look harder, right? Like they're just better looking cards. There's going to be amazing cards in the set, but people are really poo-pooing One Piece. And to me, that means the fishermen aren't here. And I'm happy to continuously, pick up booster boxes for a relatively cheap price. I am picking up, I'm going to be picking up OP13 in large amounts. I have a significant order for PRBO2 outstanding. I'm really, really hoping, because I'm buying this from PRBO2 from Europe, I'm really, really hoping the transshipment tariffs, if you guys know what that is, from our overlord Donald Trump, that's not going to screw me, because that's 40%, which, guys, if tariffs hit, I think One Piece prices, booster box prices, for sealed existing prior sets might actually go up. That's kind of what happened in Magic the Gathering, right? When they had those collector booster box prices, MSRP, had MSRP come back, people thought, oh my gosh, including myself, like I would totally admit to this, that, I thought, oh my gosh, like those guys are putting MSRP at like $300-$400 depending on the product for a collector's booster box. Like that's insane. That's way too much. But guess what? You have Final Fantasy booster boxes now at like $1,500 a booster box, $1,600 a booster box, which just came out like a few months ago, right? So I do think that if MSRP goes up in One Piece, then that might actually drive up prices for One Piece if the game survives, right? Like there's always going to be the downside risk of like everyone just totally rejects it and goes, you know what, this game isn't worth $135 a booster box. I'm tapped out at $120 a booster box. That could happen. Again, unlikely, but it could happen. And if it doesn't happen, that means the booster box themselves, like the existing booster boxes from prior sets, will probably go up in value. That's just my my spiel there. And then obviously there's the other side of things. Just 6 months ago, people were quitting Pokemon to go to One Piece. And now it just feels like people are kind of, switch over from Pokemon. 1 year ago, that was in Pokemon. No one wanted to be in Pokemon, right? People were dumping Pokemon for cheap to get into One Piece. And I think it's just important for us to recognize there are these cycles. Zigging when others are zagging is important, or fishing where, where the fish are, so where other fishermen are not. Anyways, I've talked about this long enough. Let me know what you guys think about the state of One Piece today. Are you quitting One Piece to go to Pokemon? If you are, let me know in the comments below. And or vice versa. Are you quitting Pokemon to do all in on One Piece? Let me know about that as well. I'd love to hear that from you guys. Anyways, thanks guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys next time.